February 1959. 9 young hikers vanish into the frozen wilderness of the Ural Mountains. Weeks later, their bodies are found scattered, mutilated, and glowing with radiation. One woman's tongue is missing. Another's skull is smashed as though crushed by an invisible hand. One man's ribs are shattered, but his skin is untouched. And all of them fled their tent barefoot, slashing their way out from the inside, into a blizzard. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident, a mystery so disturbing that even Soviet investigators described the cause of death as a compelling natural force, a phrase that means nothing and everything. The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student. With him were 9 fellow students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, all skilled skiers, hardened by the cold and eager to conquer the northern Ural Mountains. These weren't amateurs, but on this trip, experience didn't save them. One hiker, Yuri Yudin, turned back early due to illness. He would later say it was the only reason he survived. The others pressed on, unaware they were marching towards something unspeakable. On February 1st, the group pitched their tent high on the slope of Kolatsiakl, a name the indigenous Mansi people ominously translate as Mountain of the Dead. That night, something happened inside the tent, something terrifying enough to make 9 rational, experienced hikers rip open the canvas from the inside and flee into a snowstorm without boots, coats, or weapons. Days later, rescuers found the tent, half buried in snow, silent. Inside, supplies, clothing, food, untouched. Almost as if the hikers expected to return, but never could. Footprints led away from the camp. Not a chaotic sprint, but a deliberate single-file march, as though they were being led, or perhaps herded. Many prints were made by bare feet or socks, in temperatures that would kill within minutes. The tracks ended at the edge of the forest. There, under a cedar tree, 2 bodies were found, stripped down to their underwear, their skin blackened by frost and fire. Branches above them were broken, as if someone had climbed high in desperation, trying to escape something. Near the cedar tree, 3 more bodies were found, sprawled in the snow, Dyatlov himself among them. Their frozen poses suggested they had been crawling back toward the tent, but collapsed just short of salvation. 2 months later, spring thaw revealed the remaining 4 hikers. They were buried under 12 feet of snow in a nearby ravine. Their injuries were unlike anything searchers had seen before. One had his skull crushed. Another had ribs broken inward, as if his chest had been squeezed by some immense pressure. Yet, there were no external wounds, no cuts, no bruises, nothing you would expect from blunt force trauma. Doctors compared the damage to a car crash, and then came the detail that still chills researchers today. Lyudmila Dubinina was missing her tongue. Her eyes were gone. The soft tissue of her face had been surgically stripped away in the middle of a frozen wasteland. Stranger still, their clothing carried abnormal levels of radiation. Clothes that glowed under Geiger counters, as if the hikers had brushed against something radioactive or had been exposed to it. So what happened on the Mountain of the Dead? Some say an avalanche, but the tent was still standing, and the footprints remained neatly pressed into snow that an avalanche would have erased. Others whisper about military experiments. The Ural Mountains were not far from secret Soviet testing grounds. Could the hikers have wandered into a weapon test? Some claim the horrific injuries mirror the effects of pressure wave bombs or parachute mines. And the radiation? Soviet cover stories always stumble when Geiger counters start ticking. But then there are the reports that don't fit any rational explanation. Locals claimed to see glowing, fireballs in the sky on the night of the tragedy. Searchers described the bodies as an unnatural orange color, their hair turned gray as if prematurely aged. And of course, the missing tongue, often theorized as the silencing of a witness or something far stranger, a sacrifice demanded by forces not of this world. Imagine it, the hikers waking to a low-frequency hum vibrating through the tent, a sudden flash outside. Panic. They cut their way out and flee, not because of snow, but because they felt watched, herded, drawn into the trees where something waited. The Soviet report called it a compelling natural force, but the vagueness is almost worse than an answer. Did the government know more, or were they just as terrified of what they found? Today, Russia still insists it was an avalanche, yet every year, new researchers, new scientists, and new skeptics return to Dyatlov Pass. They measure, they theorize, they argue. But the truth, the real truth, has never come out. 9 hikers entered the mountain of the dead. None returned alive. And whatever killed them that night, it has never been explained. So, what do you believe? A natural disaster, a secret weapon test, or something darker that still stalks the frozen slopes of Dyatlov Pass?